different, you know, around the state, and that's what we're talking about. When you mention a store's name, doesn't necessarily mean that they're doing it wrong, but that gives you some sense of what the demand might be.
Well, I would say 99% of pet stores do get their puppies from puppy mills. The Michigan Humane Society launched a campaign in February with that commercial, 99% get their dogs from puppy mills. So you're not going to find an exception around here, because we investigated the small pet stores, and we found that they were working with unlicensed breeders, you know, telling lies about things, selling them underage, doing the same things that a larger pet store like Petland or the Family Puppy would do too. So we haven't found any exceptions to the rule. So.
And this isn't a practice that is indicative of chains versus mom and pop places. I mean, everybody is put in the position of, because of the demand, using these things.
Right. Well, like I said, most reputable breeders would not sell to pet stores in their code of ethics, so they have to go to someone that's likely not licensed or inspected.
Is there any hope?
These breeders work with pet stores because they have a surplus, and they wanted to mass producing these dogs. So then that's why they're working with pet stores to help them sell, because they have so many. It's more about profit and getting them sold.
Is there any hope that we'll get some feedback here, and I'm not sure where it's from. I'm going to find out though, if I can. That's what I'm wondering, if that will help. But I think the speakers behind us are giving us a little feedback as well. But is there any hope that through the awareness campaign and through other efforts of pressure, boycotts, and so on, that puppy mills could be made to clean up their act and get properly registered?
Well, we don't want them to breed better. We don't want them to have larger, cleaner kennels. We want them to have a family. We don't want, you know, them to improve better breeding, okay? So we want these dogs to be in a home, not out in a kennel by themselves, in a cage, whether it's, you know, clean or not, whether they receive vet care. That's my position.
Now the big question, Pam, is there enough adoptable animals to meet the need for companionship that people have?
Absolutely. What did we do in the 70s before these mass production operations? Someone down the road accidentally had a litter. You know, it wouldn't be a problem. In Genesee County alone, they have the second highest euthanasia rate at the animal control shelter. That's 3,000 dogs.
The second highest rate in the state. Okay.
Yes. The first highest is the Michigan Humane Society, but they have 4 shelters. So one shelter alone has 3,000 dogs they're putting out, canines, puppies, and dogs. That's a lot of dogs that we could. So this new pet store that has come to town is pumping more animals into the community when we need to adopt, and that's our big message: is don't shop, adopt. So we need to support the rescues that are coming in from the shelters and the shelters themselves. So we have 3 really good shelters. We have Adopt a Pet in Fenton, Humane Society on North Highway, and the Animal Control Shelter. You can work with a rescue group called Friends of Genesee County Animal Control.
And how do people contact you? How do they get a hold of you?
Well, everyone has a Facebook page. So we set up one specifically in Flint because it's more of a community here. Detroit, all the cities kind of run together. So we have a group in Detroit and we have a group here, the Facebook page, and we're almost at 200 now, and we just started a couple months ago and got a lot of support. We kicked off our campaign against the new pet store in February, and we did a 5-month investigation. We went down and we looked at the breeders. We found a lot of contradictions to what they tell you in the store and what the owner has told us. We have pictures of dogs in cages on ware floors with excessive feed feeding, and that's the smaller breeders. Then he has larger ones up to 250. Now he's moved back up to Minnesota, where they had the mega mills, and he was those mills were investigated back 3 years ago, and when he changed the name, he was exposed by the Detroit Free Press. They changed the name of his store to Family Puppy. He was known as the Family Pet. He still has 2 stores there. So he has a history of working with mega mills. Now he's back out in Minnesota shipping in on semi-trucks.
And why Minnesota?
Minnesota has a lot of mega mills, and I think that's where he started, and he knows people out there. He knows brokers. So he's dealing with new brokers that don't have a history, so you can't trace where the dogs are coming from. So brokers work with breeders, and the there's no direct link to the breeders that he's working with.
It almost sounds like they just treat them like products instead of like animals and little lives.
They call them breeding stock. They don't have names. Some of them have numbers. Some breeders tattoo or they even brand their heads or put tags in their ears. Yeah, and they sell them at auctions in Ohio. He was working with, the family puppy was working with the broker, the same broker Petland worked with out of Ohio. And so those are a lot of Amish mills in Ohio. So Amish are known for puppy milling.
Is there any consistent legal course of action from state to state? Are they picking Minnesota because they're maybe less restrictive?
I'm not sure why they're picking, other than he has contacts there. He's worked there before. 5 states have passed legislation to limit the number of dogs breeders can have to 50. Other states have been passing standards, and we're going to have a puppy mill bill here in Michigan too. The Michigan Humane Society is sponsoring it. They have a new campaign called Protect Our Puppies, and they have draft legislation. I'm not sure exactly if it's going to limit the number of dogs, but we're going to hear a lot more about puppy mills.